I'm sure we'll cover it.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, everybody. It's Miracle Mom and Mike.
That's us. I'm also Michael. Some people call me Mike, but
Do you prefer Michael?
That's what you named me.
Well, I know, but
Well, I checked my birth certificate and it says Michael on it.
okay.
So
Some people don't like their name. They do things to it.
funny you should say that. When I have this distinct memory when we lived in Dansville, so and it was when we were at Knox Street.
Yeah.
What was the address for Knox Street?
There's two Knox.
All right. Well, I tried to look it up, and there's no 2 Knox right now, but there's a 4 Knox Street right now that looks like the house we lived in. But I don't know if the address changed or the GPS is just wrong. Anyway.
Yeah, I did that too. Yeah.
And I found the house. It totally looks like the right house. But
yeah.
What was I going to say? Oh, when we lived there, I remember walking. I mean, I have this vivid memory walking. I think it's west toward the hospital, where the baseball field was.
Right.
I remember walking that way, thinking, man, I wish my name was Matthew or Mark. I don't know, like, I guess I had a couple friends that had those names, and for some reason, I liked the way they sounded. I wish my name was Matthew or even Mark. And that's the only time I ever remember, like, not liking my name for some reason. Maybe it's because there were, like, 4 other Michaels in my class.
Yeah.
It was
That's interesting.
Very popular name.
It's funny you bring that up, because I asked my mother one time, why did you name me Bonnie? There are no relatives that I know of, in the family that she would name me after. But anyway, she said, well, we had a family that lived right across the street, and the woman living there was pregnant the same time my mom was, and they were both due right around the same time. And they got to talking one day and talking about what they were going to name their kids. And my mom said, oh, if it's a girl, I'm going to name her Linda. And the neighbor looked at her and went, oh, I'm going to name mine Linda too, if it's a girl. And my mom said, oh, okay. So she named me Bonnie. That's how that came about.
Really?
Yeah, and the girl that was born, she was born just a month before I was. So her mother named her Linda. My mom named me Bonnie.
The neighbor beat your mom to the punch.
So that's profound. That's how I got my name.
Well, then you had a daughter. And what's her middle name?
Linda.
Right?
Yeah, named after her grandmother.
Right. On her father's side.
Right.
So you were almost a Linda.
Yeah.
And then you married a man whose mom's name was Linda.
Right.
That's interesting. But
we knew.
So that still doesn't explain where Bonnie came from. You were almost Linda.
No.
Was Bonnie the second choice? And then...
I don't know if she had a second choice or not. She may have had one, but I don't think she did. I think I would have remembered that, because I might have liked the second choice better than the first one. So I didn't ask.
Well, did this song come on the radio? My Bonnie lies over the ocean.
Yeah, I get that all the time.
Yeah.
People do say to me, is Bonnie your real name, or is it Bonita?
Huh. Bonita. Bonita. It's beautiful in Spanish, or pretty.
And I'm in Minnesota, and I've discovered when I moved here, there are Bonnies all over the place. I know more Bonnies in Minnesota than I've ever known in my entire life.
Interesting.
And that's no lie. That is no lie.
Huh.
I can name off the top of my head probably 3 of them that I worked with.
Wow. I met one other Bonnie that I recall. Huh. Well, this is absolutely not the topic we were going to talk about in this episode, but that's fine. This will be this will be a different segment. What's in a name? How's that? What's in a name? But
sounds good.
I don't know that I know previously in previous episodes that I had you going chronologically, kind of through your own history.
Yeah.
We never really. I don't think we ever got to. Did we? Where you picked my name?
Oh, yeah, we did that early on.
Did we talk about that?
Yeah, that was one of the early ones.
Oh yeah.
About your dad and music, Lee Michael, and all that stuff.
Right. The artist Lee Michaels.
Yeah.
Do you remember? He had a couple hits, or one hit at least.
Oh, that was back in the 70s, so I'm not sure.
Oh gosh. I should know it. I mean, I'm his namesake. How does it go? He's my namesake, or I'm his namesake.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't tell you. I don't know if I ever told you this. So, back when 10 years ago now, I was working at this show. It was like a dating show called Excused. It was kind of like the Bachelor, the whole season of The Bachelor in a half an hour.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, they have this house, and there would be actually they do 2 girls and then like 4 guys, and then the girls would narrow down.
I remember that.
Yeah, so the girls would narrow down the guys, and then the guys would narrow down the girls, and the girl would narrow down the guys, and it would, you know, it was a formula, and it was, you know, really kind of trash TV, but it was funny. There was a comedian that was the hostess, and she's pretty snide and snarky, and one of those rude comics. Anyway, so I was working on that show, and that's where I met my bandmates. The two guys that were working there were in a band, a guitar player and a drummer.
Oh, okay.
And their singer had just quit the band, and they needed a singer. And I'm like, well, that's my style of music. I used to sing back in high school. I was in a rock band, and turns out the guitar player was friends with Lee Michaels.
Oh, wow.
Like Lee Michaels, he became I don't know if he still does, but he owned a very popular seafood restaurant, like in Santa Monica or somewhere. Maybe, I think it was.
Oh my gosh!
Like he was a successful restaurateur, and this guitar player had done a video or something for him, and edited something, and I'm like, when we had our first gig, I'm like, you got to try and get him there. You got to try and get him there to the gig.
Yeah.
He didn't come. I think my guitar player maybe represented his friendship, you know, differently. I think they were more acquaintances, not buddies.
Yeah, right.
But I had that crazy notion that what if, you know, Lee Michaels comes into my first gig in a band. So it was almost a full circle moment.
Almost.
It was a trip. I mean, what are the odds that I would run into somebody who's a musician? You know, those kind of things happen.
Yeah, they do, and those are those wowza moments where, you know, coincidence goes right out the window, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I was meditating on that word, and I think I may have talked about this in the other podcast. Actually, now's a good time to say it. I have a couple other podcasts, everyone. If you've watched this far, then watch a little further. There's another one called On This Channel, this YouTube channel, which I'm going to rename the channel. This podcast is called Miracle Mom and Michael. I think the name of the channel is going to be Miracles Happen Here, because there's another podcast I'm doing called Through a Glass Darkly, which talks about the miracle of the other project I'm working on. We're running out of time. We have under a minute left, but let me get back to what I was going to say. Coincidence is just a made-up word, I think.
I don't like it.
It actually doesn't have a meaning, because I think it's basically whenever we tune into what's going on in our lives and a pattern is recognized that is improbable, it's like, wow, that really seems weird. Wow, why did that happen? That word coincidence helps us psychologically to get past it without acknowledging God, right? It's like God is in control. He's in control of all things. These patterns are everywhere in our lives, And every now and then we recognize them. And that sensation of recognizing a pattern, we have that feeling, and then we call it a coincidence and then move on. So that's my final thought. Everybody, subscribe, share, like, all that stuff. I keep forgetting to do that. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.